Hello there, what's crack a lacking? I'm Scotty, you're not. Welcome back to the Saw Revisited. I almost said retrospective. Saw Revisited. We were talking about Saw 3 this time. I'm honest, this is always one I never particularly cared for. It was just, I remember, so we're going back now, all the way to 2007, 2008-ish. Probably early 2008, whenever Saw 3 came out on DVD. We had the first two in the house, so I watched those, liked those, and I was excited for this one to come out. It did, and I took it home, I watched it in my room, and I was just like, that was a movie. It happened. It always feels like the ending of this movie, and this is probably the biggest mistake that these filmmakers ever made, is killing Jigsaw off so soon. And I know, he's a cancer patient. Incurable cancer. Sure. But I don't know. And you can't cure him of his cancer because the cancer diagnosis is the whole reason why he's doing this. Sure. Okay. But I don't know. I mean, the next one, I like 4 more than 3 because of the twist, But, they prolonged Jigsaw in that one a little bit. But, yeah. This one just, I don't know. Also, I've never liked the fact that Detective Carey goes out on such a sour note. And it also doesn't make sense, okay? Detective Matthews, you know why he was tested. You know, when it comes to the other cops in this franchise, okay? Let's look at the cops. And I'm going full spoilers here. I'm talking about cops that come out after this movie. So you have Tap. His fate is sealed to the video game. So I've never played a video game, but apparently he ends up offing himself in that. There's something that happens in the game or whatever. But it's, it's an event. I think it has to do with Jigsaw, so in a way where it kind of, I don't know. And if you say, he actually went out, you say the game's not canon, he went out in the first one. He went out, killed by someone out of Jigsaw's control. Sure. Is that, yeah. But then you have Singh, who was killed by Jigsaw with a shotgun trap. Okay. Detective Matthews, he played a game and was part of Riggs' game and died that way. I won't go full into that, but he does die. Riggs' whole thing, I still believe him to be alive, even though they show his picture. I just don't think he would die from what happens at the end of 4. We'll get to that later. There's Hoffman. Enough said. He makes his first appearance here. But they all have fates that are kind of make sense. Even Hoffman's, how his story ends. But Carey's, Rig being tested makes sense because, it's about him having the patience to wait and not rush in. And then you have Matthews, his test is for his son, and that he's a corrupt cop, he should be tested. What's Carey's test? The only thing I could think as to why she should be tested is that she had an affair with a married man. But that's not brought up in her test. Her test is that her job is too good. Essentially, she dies because she's getting too close to finding out what's happening. And she's not even supposed to die. But she's supposed to be in a test, because later Jigsaw will go off on Amanda. Amanda's being tested because she allowed Detective Carey to die. But she was supposed to be tested, but not die. But it never made sense to me why she was tested, because she didn't do anything other than the affair. But the affair is not brought up on the thing. And it's Jigsaw's voice. And then, Jigsaw's voice on the thing. So, yeah. Despite the fact that they keep getting, I mean, they do it with Hoffman later, but I'm just saying, like, they keep using Jigsaw's voice. I think Hoffman's voice is close enough, you know. It is, but, yeah. And even, so, the first trap we see in this, the guy, okay, the first thing we see is Matthews. But then that's quickly dismissed. He's stuck, much like with like Adam and Larry in the first one. He's got the shack around him, but he doesn't cut off his foot. He uses the toilet tank to bash it. I get out, and he does eventually get out. And just to kind of wrap up his story, we find out he does get out. He and Amanda have a tussle because, well, I guess she does close the door, doesn't she, on him? Yeah. And he's left there. We find out what happens to him in the next one. And we also find out, I must say this here, that Adam is dead. Some people have a theory he's not. There's a theory that actually he was actually his body was swapped with Detective Tapp's body, and Hoffman resuscitated Adam and brought him back to life. I don't know about all that, but it was supposed to be. It was like, so once upon a time ago, after Jigsaw came out, and they were talking about Saw 8, someone edited the Saw characters page, changing stories for a few of them. That said Adam was still alive and he was saved by Hoffman, and he was going to be the one to rescue Hoffman from the bathroom because he's secretly been working with Hoffman. He also said that this person also said, and I believe this to be more plausible than the two guys at the beginning of the final chapter or Saw 3D being the two other guys in the pig mask helping Gordon at the end of that movie. It makes no sense. But they said it was actually Daniel Matthews and Rig, which makes a lot more sense to me because I never believed that Rig could die from whatever injury he got. You know? Well, he was a gunshot wound, wasn't it? I don't know. We'll get that in the next one. I'm just saying, I don't know. And for those of you who say, hey, spoiler, I've warned you. This is full spoilers. The reviews are full spoilers. I'm talking about more than just this movie. I will refer to later films in this franchise. So if you're worried about spoilers, watch my regular reviews. Okay? I'm to warn you in every one. Yeah, so then this first trap was named Troy, right? He is in this classroom. And he's got chains to each of his arms, his legs, and he's got one through his jaw. And his test is that he's supposed to rip all the chains off and be able to escape before a bomb goes off. So, and this is showed to us through flashback stuff. They get in there, they're examining, the cops are in there, they're examining stuff. And they're like, all I had to do was get the chains out, and he'll be able to escape. And they point out, well, actually, we had to saw our way through here. We had to break through. It was locked. So even if he got all the chains out, and we'll talk about that in a minute, he wouldn't have been able to escape. He'd still be dead. The bomb would still go off. He'd still die. But let's talk about that last chain, shall we? He's got it in his arms, his legs. Yeah. Surprised he didn't have two coming off his nipples. But the last one is through his jaw. Through here. Through here. And here. Like this. Right? Yeah, through here like this. To break that, the other ones broke through the skin. That's easy. To break that, he would have to break his jaw to get that off. No, even if that door was not locked, was not bolted or whatever they said it was, there's still no way. Even if he was to break that, he'd be debilitated. Like, what is the point of these people living There was no way. And then, oh, this is not the test. This. And we don't know how long it's been since the last film, but they somehow know that Amanda is Jigsaw's apprentice. And it's never made sense to me how they know that, Amanda Young. Well, Amanda Young is too small to live. Actually, that's not till the next one, I don't think, right? Yeah, with Carrie. Yeah, that's the next one they said. Never mind. Like, Carrie's death is in this, but she's investigating, and then the only thing I think of is that she's getting too close to figuring out the truth. So she's putting this test where the things are gonna rip ribs off. She doesn't do the thing. She does what she's told. She puts her hand in the acid. She opens it, and then nope, she's still in there, and she dies because yeah. Again, though, even if that was to free her, she would still have injuries. It's like, I don't know, debilitate these people. Like, even, again, those people, I want to point out the people that were in that gas house, even if they got the antidote, that would still have an effect on their bodies, right? Imagine if, they're throwing up that stuff, and then they take the cure, but they were still throwing up that stuff. That's still going through their system, their digestive system. It's still going to leave them with some kind of issues, right? You don't come out of this completely free. No. So after this, we meet Dr. Lynn Denlin. Yes, Lynn Denlin, who is kidnapped from the hospital by Jigsaw. She is in bed with a man who is the guy from Survival of the Dead, and a short cameo in Diary of the Dead. Yeah, and he wants a divorce. Of course, I'm spoiling, so if you don't know, of course we know this is a man she is having an affair with. And he actually wants her to get a divorce from her husband, who we find out is slow-ass motherfucking Jeff. That's right, that's who he is. Slow-ass motherfucking Jeff, because he takes forever to get anything done. Well, we're going to talk about slow-ass motherfucking Jeff. Okay? Because this guy, who is the villain from the Warriors of Virtue, by the way. Yes. Slow-ass motherfucking Jeff. His test. He has to go from room to room, and all of these people are connected to the death of his son in a car accident that happened a year or so ago from this. I don't know. The first person he comes across is the woman, the witness, who saw the car accident but did not take the stand. I think is what it was. She refused to take the stand, which I guess I never get that when they say, oh, they never took the stand. If you're called as a witness, you have to take the stand, right? But I guess you have to give permission to, I don't know. And this trap is the one and only reason why I can't show my son these movies, because she's, for some reason, completely and totally naked. And this is the only movie that has nudity, unless you count the fake boobies that are shown when Jill gets ripped in half in the dream. There are fake prosthetic boobies you see quickly. Other than that, I guess you see nipple through the shirt she's wearing, but other than that, there's not really actual nudity. It's the only thing I think, like, I just skip this scene. I'll just say, hey, she gets frozen to death because he's too slow. Slow-ass motherfucking Jeff. Yes, because he takes forever to get to that key. And I understand he's going through his frustrations, right? But he takes too long to get that key, and then she's frozen already, and then The next one is by far the grossest. This is right? That's the next one. It's the judge. The judge who threw out the case, or, didn't throw out the case, but gave the guy he didn't throw out the case, he gave him a light sentence or something, right? Something like that. And so now his thing is he's strapped down to this thing where the machine is just throwing in pig slop in his face. And so Jeff, after taking forever, because he's slow ass motherfucking Jeff, gets in there and frees the guy. The only guy that gets freed. And there's only one reason why he's freed. Because they were going through the script and go, oh, we need him to free at least someone. Because you think, oh, he's just going to let everyone die. But one person has to be free, so the next room makes sense. The next room, Timothy Young, the guy responsible for his son's death, the guy who ran him over, who was let off on a light charge, is stuck to the rack. My favorite trap in this movie. I didn't do my favorite trap in the last one because there really isn't one. The fly trap, I guess. Because the other ones is just gas room stuff. So yeah, the fly trap. I guess you have the needles. I've never needle. No. And then Obby, but the fly trap. But yeah, because it's turning legs, his arms, his head. And again, slow ass motherfucking Jeff taking so long. And again, the only reason why the judge is still alive, so he can take the gunshot, so that Jeff can get the key, but he takes so long that he's not able to get the key in there, and it turns the guy's head around, and he's dead. But not before Jeff says, I forgive you! That's great. He's still dead, though. And now Jeff's back alone, again, as he's going down the hallway. Meanwhile, we have Lynn waking up, and I kind of went through that whole side of the plot there. We have Lynn waking up. She's got this thing around her neck. Something that Amanda created. I want you to know that, because she's like, oh, you can... At one point, there's a standoff between the two of them, and she's like, you take the axe, you can kill me. You can get out of here. But that will go off as soon as you leave a certain part, get a certain point away. Or you can try to take it off, but any slight movement will set it off. I know I made it, and I'm like... So how would they get it off? It's another one, like, Jigsaw's whole thing is that she's got it on, and until Jeff gets his tests completed, and then they can take it off. But if any slight movement can set it off, wouldn't it go off when she's trying to take it off, right? When they would take it off. So Lynn is there to perform a surgery on Jigsaw that will prolong his life. I get, and the thing is, he's supposed to stay alive for as long until Jeff gets the test done, I guess. I don't know. I guess? I really don't. Because I don't know what prolonging his life is going to be. It's still cancer. It's still... He's not... But... It is what it is, I guess. And as you know, Jeff does pass all of his tests. He does do the surgery, and she does do the surgery, and he sees Jill, who will be important in the next movie. They're planting seeds now. They're not just concluding it. They're planting seeds. They know that this is now a hit, so they're doing things. Although, when this came out, though, it was rumored this was it. This was the last one. And then you end it, and you're like, well, yeah, he's dead. Of course this is the last one. And then, like, South 4 is coming out in October. You're like, wait, what? Man's dead. Hello? And his only accomplice. So we thought. Little did we know. But anyway, so, yeah. And someone, who we later find out is Hoffman, left a note saying, I know what you did. And we later find out that... And this always confused me. So it's canon that we know that she is responsible. Again, full spoilers here. For the accidental death because she was with Cecil the night that he robbed Jigsaw's pregnant wife's clinic and caused her to have a miscarriage. And so that was what the note is about. But if you don't watch the unrated version of part 6, I think it is, you won't know that. Because it's only in the unrated version that starts with that clip of them in the car. And you don't really see, I think, it's not really, but they still go that route of showing it, I think. I don't remember, I haven't watched 6 in a while. 6 is one of the good ones. So, yeah. But, and it says that you have to, essentially, Hoffman is making sure he gets control of Jigsaw's legacy with this because, and again, full spoilers here, because he knows that by her shooting Lynn, it will cause Jeff to freak out and kill Amanda. And by proxy, also kill Jigsaw, John, because either way, though, John survives or not, he's got cancer, he's going to die anyway. So Hoffman will get the legacy no matter what. Yeah. I'm just saying. Yeah. So, you know what happens. She shoots Lynn, and the slowest motherfucking Jeff is slowly going around the corner, and he hears that she comes in faster than he's been in the rest of this movie. He shoots Amanda, and Jigsaw said this was your test because you were killing people. Killing is distasteful. He doesn't say that in this one, but I gotta say it. I despise murderers is what he says. And again, I didn't bring this up in the last one, but those cops that show up at the beginning, the SWAT team or whatever, a couple of them get their legs cut off and the other ones get electrocuted. But killing is distasteful, right, John? You're putting poison in those people's bodies. But killing is distasteful. I'm just saying. Yeah. But, so, Jeff then kills Jigsaw after saying, I forgive you. And it causes the collar to go off and completely kill Lynn. And then Jigsaw activates the recording that says, oh, you killed me. But I'm the only one who knows where your daughter is. I'm the one responsible for the death of your child. Wasn't talking about the son, the daughter who is hidden somewhere. And he's the only one that knows where she is. Because he knew that he knew that Amanda was going to be killed. He knew it was what I think is. But we know that's bullshit. We know Hoffman knows because he rescued her at the beginning of 5. So, again, in the beginning of that, Special Agent Strom, we'll get introduced to the next movie, maps it out and says he was supposed to be the hero. So is this something that John planned, or was it... what Hoffman had planned? He's going to make himself the hero. Did he just tell Hoffman where she was? Or was he not supposed to know and he did know? I don't know. It's confusing. Yeah. It's Hoffman's not a character until this movie. So he has one scene at the beginning. They're in a crime scene with Troy. Troy's crime scene. Other than that, all that much, but this one, I'm gonna give it a middle of the road. It's not. It ends with Jeff in there. So it has a cliffhanger, but if you're watching this all the way back in 2008 and you're thinking 2007, excuse me, and you're thinking, well, because I remember when I watched it, I assumed this was the last one, and I'm just like, because Jigsaw dies, so I'm like, okay, it's a way to end it, kind of a cliffhanger. What happens to Jeff? Just, I don't know, but yeah, it's the middle of the road. It's my least favorite so far. I'm going through these again, so far the ranking would be 3, 2, and 1. I'm sure there'll be other ones in there at some point, but I'll tell you right now, I don't think one's going to change. Like I said, the first one's one of my favorite horror movies ever, so yeah. So what are your thoughts on Saw 3? Leave a comment, so much like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.